Well, Razorback fans, some people are pretty concerned about things right now for the football team, especially after signing day in the portal class so far. So should Hog fans be concerned? Let's talk about it on today's Locked On Razorbacks podcast.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome into the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. I am your host, John Nabors. I'm also the host of Out of Bounds. You can catch every weekday afternoon from 1 to 4 on 103.7 The Buzz and 103.7thebuzz.com. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday night, Friday, depending on when you are listening or watching to this podcast. And I want to apologize about being a little late on the podcast itself. I think a lot of that will make sense here after a while. Just been busy, man. Just been busy. But either way, we had a chance to see the Razorback class come together. And the high school ranks, at least, for signing day. It's not officially over because we do know that there is the final signing day, I guess if you want to call that, happening on February. So I just think it's funny where you call it the early signing period. It shouldn't be called that anymore. It just needs to be called the signing period because that's when the majority of people are going to sign. But either way, Arkansas, as of right now where it stands, and the 2024 class, and it's according to 24/7 Sports, Arkansas overall is 27th in recruiting. They have a composite ranking of 28th. And in the transfer portal class, Arkansas is officially at 17th. Now, in the SEC in high school recruiting, Arkansas is like 11th in the SEC. 27th, but 11th there. And the transfer portal, Arkansas is behind Ole Miss, who's number 2. South Carolina, who's number 5. Kentucky, who's number 9. And that's it. So Arkansas has the 4th best SEC transfer class right now and the 11th recruiting class, according to 24/7 Sports. So what does this mean exactly? What does this mean? Well, it means a few things. It means that, one, Arkansas is about on pace to pretty much do what they normally do in recruiting. Nothing has changed on that front as far as rankings go. In fact, if you've looked at the previous classes, that Arkansas has had and where they ranked, and we're just talking about high school because we'll get to transfer portal here in just a second. But if you think about where Arkansas has ranked, I mean, we don't even have to go that far back, to be honest, folks. We could look at it from, say, the 2023 class. You know where Arkansas ranked? 27th. All right. What about the 2022 class? Where did Arkansas rank? 22nd. All right. Where did Arkansas rank in 2021? 28th. All right. Where did Arkansas rank in 2020? If I can get my computer to load. 29th. So, not saying it's great because I don't think that that's a way of putting it. But when it comes to the ranks themselves and where it stands now, Arkansas is about average. I mean, it's about what they are. And it's pretty much what they always have been in high school. But as I mentioned before, I really don't care about the high school recruiting class as much as I do the transfer portal. The transfer portal recruiting class is what matters. That's what's going to be the most important thing this year. And Arkansas overall, if we're looking at the transfer ranks, because right now they stand at 17th, and it's not over with yet. They still have time. But as of right now, they're 17th. So let's look at it going now forwards. Starting in 2020, looking from that when, Sam Pittman's first year to where they're at. And this is all according to 24/7 Sports. Arkansas in 2020 ranked 12th in the transfer portal rankings. In 2021, if we fast forward a little bit, they ranked 48th in the transfer portal class. In 2022, let's take it another step further. They ranked 13th in the portal class. In 2023, they ranked 11th in the portal class. And as I mentioned this year, 2024, they ranked 17th. with still work and things to do. So why am I saying all this? Well, I'm saying it because I look at Arkansas's class this year, high school and transfer, not in necessarily a negative way. We all want to be better. It should be better. You know, you want to see it be better. But it's truly just where it's at and where it's always been at Arkansas. And again, the transfer portal and high school, this isn't over with. It's not finalized. So they still have time to rank up and to get forward. But people are so upset and so angry and like making fun of, like Razorback fans are making fun of other Razorback fans for not being just hacked off, pissed off, wanting to punch a baby type anger because of the rankings of where they're at in recruiting and in the transfer portal. And I don't see it that way, folks. Like, to me, it doesn't matter as much. You want to rank high, but let's see where it finalizes. Let's see where Arkansas ranks there. But also, they're working towards getting talent. And there's some guys that you missed out on that you would have liked to have had. There's some players that could have really made you feel all warm and fuzzy inside and made you feel really good if you have been able to get them. But I believe the anger and the frustration for fans right now, which I'm not hating on you for doing this. It's just like, you can do whatever you want. But I think the anger and the frustration coming from Razorback fans more so has to do with the fact that there's two schools that are close to you in proximity that are having better success ranking-wise in high school recruiting as well as the transfer portal rankings. As of right now, well, actually just say high school recruiting. Missouri, at least, is only doing better than you in high school. You're doing better than them in the transfer portal. But then Ole Miss is beating you in both. But as I keep coming back to, it's like a lot of that has to do with the fact that both those teams won 10 games this past year. And you want to get better and you want to be improved. But I just don't see how big of a difference it is for Arkansas right now. Again, and they had the 27th ranked recruiting class. If they were 21st, how different would you feel? I mean, if you're someone who's angry about this recruiting class, forget the individual players and everything. Just look at the rankings. If you go from 27th to 21st, like, does that make you feel better about things? Like, say if you're able to get Courtney Crutchfield, which probably would have bumped you up to 21st, at least. Say if you got him. You're telling me that then you just all be like, oh, man, yeah, now we're good. This is awesome. No. It's like the differences in these rankings are very slim. Yeah, a top 10 ranking is one thing. You get a top 10 ranking in recruiting, that's big time. That's usually where a lot of the success is driven to and related to whenever you have big-time programs who are consistently getting top 10 classes. That'd be awesome. But I've said it before. Between numbers of like 11 to 16, 17, that's kind of another tier. But even after that, from like 18 to 30, folks, there's really not that big of a difference. There really isn't. You got to address the needs. And so I'm just standing back and looking at the big picture. Let's see where the rankings end up. Let's see who some of the guys that they're able to get and who they're able to add. I think that they were able to get a few nice pieces that can help out. Like even in the freshman side of things, you got a big-time 4-star wide receiver in Ashton Bethel Roman. You got a big-time D lineman out of your state in Charleston Collins. I got a cornerback, Simon Bridges, who's a 4-star player. You got Braylon Russell, who I think is going to be a huge factor this year as a freshman for Arkansas in the running back room. I really like him. Now, KJ Jackson, a 4-star quarterback, but, you're going to have to add depth there at quarterback no matter what. But I think it's fine. Again, you always want to be better, but they're addressing the needs that they need. Linebacker has been dressed in the transfer portal. They're still going to do that. Sam Pittman talked about that. Still getting offensive linemen, but they got a few of them already. They got a kicker. They got a defensive back. And they're still going to be working towards it. So I guess my point is, you can say I'm an idiot. You can call me dumb. You can say that, oh, you're just being a homer or whatever. That's fine. Or fanboy, I guess is the term. And that's fine. But again, I don't care. None of this is going to matter until season starts. That's what sucks, but none of it matters. no matter what happens in the spring, unless the only thing that's going to make Razorback fans get a little bit more excited is if they add some other like major, big time, like 5-star element piece. And maybe, just maybe, that'll alleviate a lot of the people's frustrations. But even then, it's not going to matter until they start playing a game and winning. Because winning is what's all going to get them down to. We can sit here and say that we're blue in the face is the best class ever. Won't matter if it doesn't translate on the field. And you can be one of those people that looks at the recruiting class and saying, we're doomed, we suck, we're trash, we're terrible, we don't even belong in the same field as all these other schools. And that's fine. But until it happens on the field this upcoming season, it's not going to matter. So let the season play out, let the class play out, let the transfer portal play out, and we'll see. That's fine. I don't know. I just can't. This is why I hate recruiting in some cases, because it's just so up and down. Roller coaster of emotions for some people. It'll be okay. Because here's the thing. This year, I'm just throwing it out there, for instance, if this upcoming season Arkansas found a way to like mess around and go 8-4, like how many of you are going to be like, yeah, well, 8-4 was great and it was fine, but we should have had a better and higher ranking than the 29th recruiting, your 27th recruiting class. Should have been at least 20. No, you're going to care about winning. That's what needs to be judged on. Winning. And so we'll see when we'll see how it goes. We'll talk basketball. Razorback basketball, able to get back on the winning side of things here in just a second. But first, folks, as the weather gets colder, the NFL offers stay hot on FanDuel. And right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 money line bet. That's $150 if your team wins. You've been thinking about joining FanDuel? There's no better time to get on the action than right now. And the app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and so much more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the NFL.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, so moving on into the next segment of the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. So the Razorback basketball team played a game against Abilene Christian that just actually ended by the time of this recording. Because that was another thing I was wanting to wait on when putting up this podcast. I'm like, because I got behind, obviously, a day, and I had to skip out on it. And so I was like, well, what's the point of recording the podcast like earlier this afternoon when, you know, the game's going to be happening and who knows, maybe something crazy happens, and I'd be remiss to do it. So that's why it's kind of at a weird time. But either way, Arkansas did play Abilene Christian, and they did get the victory, 83-73. And man, once again, this team, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know. I'm happy for the win. I really am. I'm happy for the win. And I'm also really happy for the second half performance. Because honestly, if it wasn't for the first half performance being such trash, Arkansas wins this game going away. I mean, they already won it by 10 points, but it was just it was such a bad first half performance that it just did not go well. So looking at the first half performance, Arkansas had 12 turnovers in the first half. Not in the game, in the first half. Had 12 turnovers. Keon Minifield had 3. Caleb Battle had 2. Makai Mitchell had 2. Then after that, you had Brazil with 1. L. Ellis with 1. Chandler Lawson with 1. Graham with 1. Tremont Mark with 1. Like, he just had all of these turnovers. It was just so bad. And they couldn't buy a basket. They went 9 of 24 in the first half. It's 37%. They went 2 of 6 from 3 and 8 of 10 from the free throw line. They did out-rebound ACU 23-16, but had 5 assists, 8 fouls, and 12 turnovers. That ain't winning basketball under any stretch. And at halftime, you had ACU lead the game 35-28, led it by a touchdown. And a lot of that has to do with, because ACU did not shoot the ball well either. They shot 38% in the first half. But a lot of that had to do with the fact that they only had 4 turnovers and they had 8 assists. So they were playing much cleaner. They were playing much smarter in the first half, and it just really showed. And it's just fans are sitting there like, my goodness, what is this? Like, what are we watching here? What is happening? Well, you were down by 7 going into halftime, and you needed a pretty top-notch performance in the second half to get back on track, and you absolutely did that. You limited from 12 turnovers to 5 turnovers. So you ended up having 17 turnovers, which is still way too many. But the second half, it got cleaned up tremendously. You shot so much better. You shot 64% from the field, 55% from three. You went 14 of 18 from the free throw line, and you were able to get outstanding performances, offensively especially, from Caleb Battle, who had 14 points in the second half, Tremont Mark, who went crazy off with 17 points alone in the second half, and Keon Minifield even going with 11 points. He went 4 of 8 from the field and had a great second half there too. So really an offensive explosion. The defense got a little bit better because not only did you just have great numbers, but you held ACU through 39% from the field and 11% from three and 63% from the free throw line. So all in all, the player of the game without question is Tremont Mark. 25 points and 11 rebounds, 2 assists, and only 2 turnovers in 35 minutes of play. That's balls. That is huge for him. So what a performance from Tremont Mark. Caleb Battle got it going. He had 18. He finished with 18. Also had 4 rebounds for him. That was good to see. Did have 3 turnovers. And I mentioned Keon Minifield having 3 turnovers. He finished with 4, but he's still getting the groove of things. And Muss even said after the game how impressed he was by just his spirit and everything. But he finished with 11 points and 6 rebounds for a guy that's only 5'11". Great rebounding guard. And, that really, really came in clutch. Chandler Lawson, he also had a really nice game. He was the only one that really had a nice first half, but finished with 9 points and 10 rebounds. So they get to that double-digit threshold there. But, yeah, just overall, really good performance out of the Razorbacks in the second half. First half, no. Second half, yes. That was really nice. And how about, Tremont Mark getting 2 offensive rebounds? And that's I think his first 2, maybe. But still, him just being able to make some plays. Jalen Graham even had a little nice game for just the amount of minutes. He played 13 minutes, had 7 points, 3 rebounds, 2 of them offensive rebound, 2 block shots. So, he had a pretty nice game. But the impressive thing is, you look at plus and minus and what it all means. But Keon Minifield was plus 21 in this game. So I'm just happy that the second half was much better. This team still has a lot to work on, folks. Like, there's no question about it. They have a lot to work on. And they got to figure some things out. And it wasn't pretty. But when you get outscored, when you're down by 7 at halftime at home to a team like that, and then in the second half you outscore them in a manner that is so convincing, 55-38. Like, you scored 55 points in the second half for an explosion there. That's hopefully the type of momentum that you can get to and you can ride. And hopefully it continues to happen. You got one more game, which is a week and a half away, essentially, after non-conference, and that's the end of it. And then you have Auburn January 6th at home for your for the SEC season. So take the win. Still a lot of things to work on, but at least the second half made everyone feel a little bit better about it. We're going to talk about something that's going to be happening on Friday afternoon here in just a second. But folks, I got to tell you, when you're hiring for your small business and you want to have as many top-tier candidates as you possibly can to interview, that's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help you find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. It's not just another job board. LinkedIn has a vast network of more than 1 billion professionals, which makes it the best place to hire anybody. Hiring is easy when you have that many qualified candidates. So easy, in fact, that 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. LinkedIn knows that small businesses are wearing so many hats, and sometimes it's tough, but they may not have the sources or the time to be able to hire somebody qualified. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, the process is intuitive, quick, and easy. They even launched a new feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply.
You are Locked On Razorbacks, your daily podcast on the Arkansas Razorbacks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, so final segment here on the Locked On Razorbacks podcast. For those of you who've been following me on social media, you have noticed that during the recruiting season especially, I've been doing the stuff that, of course, makes everybody so happy and pisses everybody off so much, of the little side eyeball emojis, and I've been putting out soon. And it's just a fact of, having some big news for everybody coming on Friday afternoon. And I just wanted to kind of explain that leading into it, that it's something that, may be surprising to a lot of you. I don't think really anyone sees it coming, but I think it's going to be good for everybody. I'm I have a little inside knowledge on it. I have some inside knowledge on what that announcement is going to be like. And so I wanted to kind of say, because of the podcast and everything, since it's not live, if you want to know what I'm talking about, and if you want to hear that breaking news, just go and follow me on X. I Buzz John Nabors. Follow me on there, and I will. I'll be able to relay you the good news, because it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge for the University of Arkansas. It's going to be huge for I think Razorback fans in general, and they're going to be excited about it. So I think it's exciting. Maybe you guys don't, but I think it's going to be a big addition, a huge addition to the state of Arkansas. Huge addition. So I just wanted to lay that out for you all. It'll probably be around, I think, if I'm not mistaken, what I was told was around 4 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow or on Friday. So yeah, just be on the lookout for that. And I think it'll be funny and fun and crazy, kind of mind-blowing type of deal. So anyways, just relaying that message along, and wanted everybody to know about that. And hopefully we can all work according to plan, because you know people these days, you never know if they're actually going to commit to it when they say they are. So just be on the lookout and be on the wait for that. But either way, appreciate everybody listening in to Locked On Razorbacks podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe to the podcast on iTunes or on Google Play. You can also get after me on Twitter at BuzzJohnNabors for any questions, comments, concerns that you may have, and we'll keep it going from there. Same podcast time, same podcast channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you then.